Hi everyone, this is Tami Patzer. Can you hear me? I'll see if I can unmute someone. It, my computer doesn't act like it's unmuting, but if you can hear me, if you could just answer in the question box, that would be cool. Hey, Sherry says she's getting her dinner plate. A little late for dinner, isn't it, Sherry? It's 9:01 and you're just having dinner. That tells me that you need to be here. So I'm really happy for everyone to be here tonight. I deliberately chose 9 p.m. on a Friday night because I know that for many of you, that means that you're probably either still working or you're just being able to sit down and eat dinner. So you probably need what I want to talk about tonight. And the entire reason why I decided to do this webinar tonight is for me. I was having this meltdown in the last month. I've been working now since May of 2010 with my Main Street Marketing Machines business, and seriously 7 days a week, sometimes 16 hours a day. So I've just started to say, is this worth it? And I'm happy to say that I am producing. I produce a lot of content, and I'll share a little bit of that tonight. But I have come to the conclusion that in order to really be successful with our social media consulting businesses that we've spent a lot of time, energy, and money on, that we need to avoid burnout. And I have a few things that have helped me whenever I get what I call crazy. I calm myself down and I go back to these tried and true methods that help me get back into, I guess, the groove, or back into the creative mode or the production mode. So before I start, let me just make sure. I see Gary has his hand up, so let me check on you, Gary, to see what your question is. Again, my computer is not letting me unmute you, and I am by myself here, so forgive me, but we are in the broadcast mode, and I am recording this. So the good news is we'll have a recording, and more folks are arriving. So just it's 9:03 right now, according to my clock, but before I start, Gary says, I'm just telling you I hear you. Like I said, I really wish I could unmute you, but for some reason, it doesn't want to let me do it. But I'll keep trying as I go on. Everybody should be able to see my screen. Can someone just give me a shout out on my screen? You should be seeing a photograph of me, and it says... Sorry about that. How to avoid burnout while creating your social media consulting business. Hey, there's Joan and Lisa. I feel like Romper Room. I don't know if any of you remember Romper Room, but it was one of my favorite shows when I was a little girl, and she'd always look with her magnifying glass, and she never said, I see Tami, and it drove me nuts. Well, it's 9:05, so I think that people will arrive, so they'll just have to come in on, whatever the conversation is. So I'll go ahead and get started. Again, I really appreciate everybody coming tonight. Again, 9 o'clock on a Friday night. If you're here, I think that tells me that there was something about my call out to you that resonated, that you need a little extra support and you need a mentor, someone to just say, hey, here's some things that you can do to avoid burnout. So I'll go ahead and start. First, I want to reintroduce myself. There's two of me here. I think I've met many of you out in San Diego when I was there, and I met several people when I was in San Diego, and that was a really positive experience for me. And when I was in San Diego, my talk was called I Am a Success Story, Total Audience Market Immersion, where I told my story. So I want to give you just a little tidbit about why my story makes me different than a lot of the other Main Street marketing machines heroes. Number one, I'm a woman, and as you all know, there are not that many Main Street marketing machine heroes who are women. And also, my background is not sales. My background is newspaper editor, professor, and single mom. And I've also been someone who has not had a lot of money, but I always worked very, very hard. And back in May, I had this oh my God moment. And I just wanted to share that with you in case you weren't there in California. Uh, I was working on my presentation for the Main Street Marketing Machines Fusion event, and I was trying to figure out, well, what am I going to talk about? And I was working on that presentation, and I started to think about how far I had come in, it was less than a year at that point. And I started to think about it, and looked back at my life, and I didn't realize how many years had gone by. And I got this emotional moment, this epiphany that in my working life, I had worked 15 years for less than $7.50 an hour. During that time, I had children. I have 3 children. Christina, who's on the call tonight, she's 33 years old, and I'm very proud because she's getting her PhD. She's everything but, so that's very exciting to me. Highest level of education in my family, so that's very cool. And I have 2 sons, 20 and 21, and I'm a grandma. So, of course, family's very important, and I know that's a big why for most of you, or almost everybody, their kids, their family. That's why we're working so hard. But that moment, it was just like I had to ask myself, was I nuts? Because I'd worked so hard. I went to college when I think I was 31 years old when I went back to college, and I drove up and down the freeway. And one year going to college, I drove 65,000 miles. I live in a very small town in Southwest Florida. The nearest college for a good degree is in Tampa. So I drove up and down the freeway to Tampa after working 40 plus hours a week. In one year, I literally drove more than 65,000 miles. And when I realized that, I had a little Toyota Tacoma pickup, my little faithful pickup, and I just drove up and down, and I went to school maybe three nights a week. I did this, and I'd get home at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. So that kind of tells you that obviously I'm someone who, when I get something in my mind, I work very hard to get it. And I bet a lot of you are like that too. If you have this passion, you put your heart and soul into it. So at one point, after I got my great education, because I knew that I needed an education, because $7.50 an hour just was not cutting it. But after I got my master's degree, my wages went up. I made $16 an hour, and the most I ever made was $20 an hour. And my last job, I only made $20 an hour and with no benefits. So just so that you know, that's not that much money, and with no benefits. And I was driving at the time to Sarasota, which is a good 45 minutes to an hour from where I live, back and forth. And I was actually working 3 jobs at one time. So I think I know a little bit about stress and a little bit about burnout. And that's why I wanted to share with you what I have learned. And I hope really tonight that I bring value to you. And as I said in my little message, if you came to this from Fusion Females or You Everywhere Now or from one of the Main Street Marketing Machine sites, I would really like you to listen and then let me know if I brought you any value tonight. So, what happened after my oh my God moment? And of course, the what question mark, that's the G-rated version. Low wages, high stress, 34 years. That was up until I found, of course, my Main Street Marketing Machine. And that really changed my life because I do have a master's degree in mass communications and I've been studying social media. So when I found the Main Street Marketing Machines, it helped me tie the pieces together. And I bet that for most of you, that's what attracted you to Main Street or social media or the instant customer monster follow-up was because you saw something in that program that made you think, aha, I can tie this together and create a business with this. And to tell you the truth, they do provide you with a lot of good tools, but there are so many tools that you literally get overwhelmed. And for some people, the overwhelm is so great that you get stuck. And that is one thing about me. I have had stuck moments where I had to step back and reevaluate because you hear the coaches and the gurus all talking about shiny object syndrome. It's so easy to get distracted. So you really do have to choose one thing. Is it mobile marketing, Google Places? Is it video marketing? That's what I started with because I knew how to do video marketing. But it's so easy just to get so distracted and just say, put your hands up and say, forget this. I spent all this money, now what? So I just want to let you know that I know exactly where a lot of you are because I've been there and I've struggled through ups and downs and peaks and valleys and the cash flow not being there and the cash coming in like gangbusters and you know the ebbs and flows of that process of creativity and then having to deal with the customer who doesn't pay on time and all of the little nuances of business. And here's my big why. It's my family. And I have, if you look over, you see I have a son who's a fisherman. He has a girlfriend, another son, actually the girl and the little baby boy, they're no longer part of the family because they were temporary. The little girl in the middle is Aurora. My daughter's down at the bottom, and then there I am in the middle. But that's my big why. I am trying to create something bigger than me so that my family life can be improved. And again, I had a lot of people come up to me when I was in San Diego and they said, you know, my mom worked really hard to take care of me. That was a son. I had women who said, you know, I know exactly what you're talking about because I did that to get to where I am. I had men come up to me who you would have thought would have no issues whatsoever with self-esteem or money. And they said, I really resonated with how hard you work. So this is the big why, the family. So now I'm ready to talk about how to avoid burnout while creating your social media consulting business. And if I push the right buttons, it will be helpful. First of all, I just wanted to point out to you, I think if you're here, you're tired. Maybe you're worrying about your cash flow, about the money. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe you're still trying to do it all because you're still trying to develop the trust factors for outsourcing. and you're working daily. Maybe you're working 7 days a week and you've got your children, you've got just your real life going on that you're trying to balance while you're creating this social media consulting business. And I know some of you are full time, some of you are part time, maybe some of you haven't even gotten started yet, even though you bought it in last year or a couple months ago. I don't know the circumstances, but I know the feelings of worrying about money and feeling overwhelmed. During the month of August, I worked so hard. For example, one of my clients, I made him 50 videos. That's a lot of videos for those of you who are doing videos and actually still doing the work yourself. That's one of my challenges, is letting go, trusting someone else to do the work. And I have been outsourcing WordPress sites, but I still do my own videos. It's a process that I'm going through. But I did all this work, and then guess what? September was Labor Day, so my client didn't pay me on the 1st like he normally would. And then he was like, oh, well, you can wait, because in their minds, they think that we're these huge companies like the New York Times where they can float, 30, 60, 90 days. And he didn't pay. And then I had another client who was slow. So it was like, oh my God, I started to worry. And the more I started to worry, the more overwhelmed I felt. The more I felt, why am I doing this? Why am I putting, all of my energy into this? Why am I just going on 7 days a week, 7 days a week, 7 days a week, constantly creating, building, and I was really overwhelmed. And it hit me that I needed to just stop. And I have to credit my daughter Christina for that epiphany, because she literally said to me, Mom, stop, knock it off, because you are successful. So that's what I'm saying to all of you who are on the call right now. If you're feeling overwhelmed and you're stressed out and you just need to calm down, just stop. Okay? That's your first step. Just stop and relax. Take a deep breath. Just stop for a moment so that you can evaluate what's going on with you. Are you exhausted? If you're exhausted, you need rest. Are you worried? Worry does not get you anything except more worry. The money is going to come in if people owe it to you. It just is not maybe coming in the fashion that you would like it. Of course, there's ways to make the money come in faster, and that's to tell these people, hey, you have to be set up on auto pay. And for some of us, that's a challenge to tell people how you have to be paid and how things have to happen. But you do, with these clients, you have to tell them you have to pay via PayPal or set up on auto pay, or it's due on the 1st, and if you don't pay it, you get turned off. You have to just spell it out. So ask yourself, are you worried? If you're worried, what are you worried about? And I know that you might be worried about something that has absolutely nothing to do with your business, but it's blocking you from moving forward, because we all have responsibilities. I mean, my kids still live at home. I'm still dealing with real life, even as I'm dealing with my business of trying to create this social media consulting business. And then evaluate, are you stuck? These are all really good questions to ask yourself, because it's kind of like anything. Before you can move forward, you have to know what's going on. So you have to stop and evaluate what's going on. And then you need to evaluate the reasons why. Why are you stuck? Why are you exhausted? Why are you worried? Because again, just like the why of why you're trying to do this, the family, to create a better life, to maybe you want free time, maybe the dream is travel, whatever the big whys are, the ones about the freedom to do whatever you want to do, the idea of why you're devoting all of this energy out to the world and into social media. You have to evaluate again, why are you feeling stuck right at this moment? Because it can be lots of reasons, and sometimes those reasons are very personal. And so of course there's no way for me to know what your personal reason is about why you're not moving forward as fast as you'd like to, or why you're feeling stressed to the point of the possibility of burning out, which of course burnout is caused from the stress of the constant energy outflow and the way we think about all of our surroundings. One of the things that I want to talk about, signs of burnout. Again, I'm repeating this because this is important, and I'm going to leave this up for just a minute or two while I reflect on this. One of the things, I'll tell you a little story about Tami and burnout. Back in 2003, I was a newspaper editor. And I was producing a weekly newspaper called I think at that time I was the editor of the Punta Gorda Herald, which was a weekly newspaper, and I was also helping all of the other weekly editors. So I was responsible for about 10 weekly products, and part of my job was to help other editors go on vacation so that they could have that break without having to do 2 issues of the paper before they could even walk out the door. And I was stressed to the max. One day I went into the ladies' room, looked at myself in the mirror, and I got this contorted look on my face, and I literally took my hair in my hands and was pulling it, and I said, God, why are you doing this to me? Give me strength. And all of a sudden I went, oh my God, oh, I'm asking for strength. God is like giving me all of these problems so I can become stronger. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm asking for the wrong thing. I kept asking to give me strength to deal with this stuff, when in fact I should have been asking for solutions so that I wouldn't have to be so strong. I should have been asking for guidance. I should have been asking for help. I should have been asking for, hey, solutions. Give me some answers so that I wouldn't have to worry about money, so I wouldn't have to feel overwhelmed, and so I wouldn't be trying to do it all, and so I wouldn't be trying to work 7 days a week without a break. And of course, all of you know that gets old very quick, where you're constantly expending your energies and never getting anything back. So it's really important that you understand that there is a balance, an ebb and a flow, the yin and the yang, and you have to get something back. And it was during that time when I started to read Wayne Dyer. This was before the internet. I used to spend the whole day at the library because I would be reading, and I was eating up Wayne Dyer's books. And I was so impressed with what he said, I wanted to meet him. So it was like, how in the world can I meet Wayne Dyer? And I started to look up where Wayne would be. Well, he was traveling all over, and one day he was going to be in Miami. And I said, well, oh, I can drive to Miami. It's only 3 hours away. But I didn't have any money to go anywhere. But I was a newspaper editor. So I decided to contact the company that was sponsoring Wayne Dyer down in Miami, and it was the Silva Method. If you haven't heard of the Silva Method, it was founded by Jose Silva, and it's basically a way to use more of your mind through meditation, and Wayne Dyer was speaking. And I didn't know anything about the Silva Method at the time, but I contacted them, and they said, yes, come as our guest to this convention. You can go through the programs and listen to Wayne Dyer as long as you write a story. So of course I was like, okay, I can do that. And I managed to scrape up enough money, for the gas and for the motel room. I think I needed to be able to spend one night to go to this convention. And the good news is, not only did I meet Wayne Dyer, and that was, of course, extremely thrilling to me to meet him, because he has a really calming aura about him, and he's very genuine. But I found the Silva Method, which is where I learned some of the techniques I'm going to share with you tonight about how to calm down and relax and use more of your mind. So I wanted to share that with you just so that you could get an idea of where I'm coming from and my background. And not only did I start to use the Silva Method for relaxation and for helping me to visualize what I wanted out of life, I also became a certified Silva Method instructor, and I've taught probably a couple hundred people how to use the Silva Method in live classes. So I just want to let you know that I have used what I'm telling you about tonight, and you don't have to become someone who does the Silva Method, but the techniques are just good techniques that will help you get in touch with yourself so that you can get re-energized and refocused. Today, right before the presentation, I actually was on Facebook, and I follow Robert Kiyosaki. And today he wrote, right now there are old, worthless ideas in your head stopping you. Conquer those and you'll conquer anything. I read that and I said, okay, that was there just for me, because it sums up some of the things I'm going to say in the next couple minutes. And I want you to think about this. Right now, there are old, worthless ideas in your head stopping you. Conquer those and you'll conquer anything. And this is really important because we all know about the law of attraction. You get what you think about. So those old, worthless ideas, those old programs that you were told about all the things you couldn't have and the things that you can't have, because maybe you can't have it because you're a woman, you can't have it because you're too old, you're too young, all of the negative things that people fill your head with. You don't have a high enough education, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not thin enough, you're not. So you get what you think about. So I want you to think about, if you get what you think about, what are you thinking about? There's positive self-talk, the I cans, I wills. And again, it was so important. I said I can again. I feel great. I am successful. I want to share with you something I learned in the Silva Method, and it's called mental house cleaning. And mental house cleaning is really important because it's a start, something that you really have to do before you can be successful. And it's also something when you're constantly giving yourself negative self-talk, that I can't, I don't, I can't again. For some reason, my can'ts and my cans, I doubled up on those. Or that makes me sick. He's a pain in the neck. Think about what you're telling your subconscious if you're always negative. How many of you know negative people and you just go, oh my goodness, get away from me, and you want to run because everything out of their mouth is all about what's wrong with the world? And for example, on Facebook, I know many of you have go on to some of the threads like the You Everywhere Now, and there's some people on there that everything's a problem. What if we run out of points on this, and what about this? And it's like, why don't you just use the points to make money, and then you wouldn't have to worry about running out because you would use them and create more cash, because they're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to just one day dissolve into thin air, because that isn't how it works. You have those points in the system, you use them up. And believe me, I do a lot of video with the traffic geyser, and I started out with 50,000 points and I still have like 48,000. So they don't run out as fast as you think, even when you use them. But this is a really important concept that you need to understand, is you get what you think about. And Alan Cohen, the quote from him is, what you think about expands. So what's going to happen if you are thinking negative thoughts all the time? You're going to get more negative. And when you think positive thoughts, you become a magnet for all things good. That's one of my favorite affirmations that I say to myself as I'm driving down the road, is I am a magnet for all things good. It makes me feel good, and it makes my trip, much more positive. But you want to know, well, how can I cancel negative thoughts? And you may think, oh my goodness, it's hard to cancel negative thoughts. But really, again, this comes from Silva Method founder Jose Silva of Laredo, Texas. Jose Silva spent his life developing this concept of using more of your mind, and he studied psychology, electrical impulses. This man was a genius in his own right, and he really did develop a system that is used by millions of people around the world. The Silva Method has a very large following in other countries and in the United States too, but it's amazing. It truly is an international thing. So it's not like this is just some weird thing that, just showed up one day. Many people, including Wayne Dyer, Canfield, I can't think of his first name. Let's see, just many famous people. Oh, Tony Robbins. He is a Silva Method graduate. These people all started with these basic concepts. So one of the things that you have to do with mental house cleaning is monitor your thoughts. So if you think a negative thought, immediately cancel it. So you actually need to become aware of what you are thinking about. And if you think a negative thought, like if you catch yourself saying something negative, you immediately cancel it. One time I was at the gas station, and it was when our gas prices were like going up 25 cents every time I went to the gas station. One day I went and it was more than $4 a gallon, and I literally said to myself, oh my God, the cost of gas is going to kill me. Well, that was a negative thought, okay? The cost of gas is not going to kill me, but if I tell myself that, think about the stress I put into my mind about the cost of gas. So I immediately canceled that. You can verbally say cancel, cancel, or delete. And it's a funny thing because this comes from Jose Silva, and this cancel, to say this to yourself mentally or verbally or delete. The cancel was pre-computer, and delete, of course, comes from the computer age where you push the delete button. They're like, oops, delete, and it's gone. So that is a very simple trick that if you catch yourself thinking in a negative way, you simply cancel it. Or just tell yourself delete, and then you immediately need to replace your negative thoughts with positive thoughts. So instead of saying something negative, you restate that negative thought and put in a positive thought. And it takes a little bit of practice to rethink about what those messages that you're sending yourself, for example, related to money. Like sometimes I'll get a little mad with at some of my clients. It's like, oh, they don't appreciate me. They're holding back their money. Well, I need to replace that, because the truth is my clients love me, and I live in Southwest Florida, and it's not about me. The only reason my people are holding their money back is because it's September in Florida, and it is traditional in my little town that September is the slowest month of the year. That's the belief in this town. So everybody tightens up that money until October, and then as soon as October comes, the cash flows again because the tourists come back, and then again maybe in June people start to tighten the purse strings up again to make it through the summer until October. It's the way it is, and I know that, but yet it doesn't help me when I'm waiting to pay my bills. But that's the thing. You need to replace your negative thoughts with positive thoughts. And you need to use positive statements. Jose Silva used the term better and better. For example, if someone were to ask you, how are you today? You could respond, better and better. How positive is that? Than to say, oh, I'm okay. You know how sometimes you go, oh, I wish I had never asked that person how they were doing, because they tell you how they're doing, and it's, oh, my brother's sick, so and so died, I have chicken pox, this, that, the house is in foreclosure, and you just go, oh my goodness. But if you respond better and better, number one, you're going to throw people off guard, because they're going, whoa, that's really positive, and it just makes you feel better. Just that simple little 3 words, better and better, can make the difference in how you feel as you're going through your day. If you start to catch yourself feeding yourself negative thoughts, turn it around, change it into some positive statement. And if all else fails, how are you doing today? Better and better. Affirmations are really powerful tools also, and I'm going to share some affirmations with you tonight that Christina actually wrote, and they were original affirmations, and she wrote them, and I included them in my book, Ask Tami, a logbook of 365 social media tips, tricks, and tools. And these are some of my tricks and tools, are how to create positive thoughts, because we all need to know that what we think about is what we draw to us. So if you're feeling all stressed out, you need to step back and find something positive. And so I'm going to share some of these affirmations with you. And the key to affirmations is you have to use them daily, sometimes multiple times per day. Many people will have an affirmation, and it's always better if you write them out in your own words. Write out your affirmations in your own words so that they come naturally, so that you can memorize them and eternalize them, so that you're actually feeding your subconscious mind the positive affirmations, and that they just become part of your thinking process on a regular basis. And some of these affirmations are from the book, and they're affirmations for success. And again, I want to make sure I give credit to Christina because she wrote these. So today I am taking the first step to achieving my dreams. And what's important when you write your own affirmations is that you write it in the first person. The I am taking the first step to achieving my dreams. It's just like every day is the first day of the rest of your life concept. Today, I am taking the first step to achieving my dreams. And of course, this affirmation you can plug in to achieving my goals, achieving a specific project, achieving whatever it is that you are personally working on. That's the beauty of affirmations. This one, I look around me and see great possibilities. And the truth is, if you do look around you, you can see the great possibilities. Again, listen to what people say. For example, how many of you get tired of listening to what a bad economy it is and how this and that and how awful things are? But when I look around me, I see great possibilities. I see opportunities because when I go out and speak to people about social media, I get a positive response. They want to know what I know. They want me to teach them. They want me to help them with their Google Places. They want me to help them with their videos. I have an adoption agency, and they're like bugging me to do more. I told them all the different things that we could do, and I said, well, we'll start with your website and optimize that. Now they're saying, well, what else can we do? What else can we do? We've already done Google Places. I said, well, you really need to do videos. So today they said, when can we shoot our 10 by 10 by 4 videos? You know, what's your schedule like? So again, I look around me and see great possibilities. I like this one. I make more than enough money on my chosen path to take care of my needs and wants, including the needs of my family. The one thing about affirmations that are really cool is when you use words like more than enough money. Normally, that is more than enough. You can also make very concrete affirmations, but you always want to make your affirmations so that even if they're very concrete, like I want to make $10,000 or more, you always add the or more into your affirmations because, hey, the universe is going to give you whatever you ask for. And I bet you most of you have found that that's true. Just like the story about when they're talking about, I think it was Jody and Eric talking about when they went and the guy says, well, I'll give you $5,000 to do this, and their idea was, well, gee, I probably could have, if they can pay us 5,000, they can probably pay us 15,000. And if you listen to the all-stars and the heroes, almost every single one of them always said, I could have asked for more, but I was too afraid to ask for more. Because you feel like you don't have enough experience or whatever the reason. It's not about you, it's about the value of what you're providing. And you could ask for more because you are literally helping these companies to become better employers. They're able to hire more people and you are helping them. So don't be afraid of the money coming to you. You know, reach out and go ahead and ask for it. This is the original quote where Jose Silva got the better and better. It was from Emile Coué. He was a French psychotherapist, and his quote, which this is the typical quote, every day in every way I am getting better and better. The actual quote translated from French was every day in every respect I am getting better and better. And I don't know if there's a nuance in the words, but every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. This is a phenomenal affirmation that is so positive that it can energize you just in thinking about every day in every way I'm getting better and better. It actually makes me feel good just saying it because it really helps you to refocus on that part of you, the center of you, that especially when you're expending all this energy in your creative business endeavors, whether it's the going out and speaking or making money or doing the actual production or the creative process. It's all, you're expending a lot of creative energy and you need to get pull back in and get replenished. And this little affirmation helps do that. Here's some simple ways to de-stress. Okay, and I'm guilty of breaking all of these rules, but I want you to seriously, you need to eat. I have a tendency to get up, drink black coffee, okay, no nutritional value. About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I look up and go, oh my God, and I'm starving. That's not good. You need to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's one reason why Mike told everybody to read the 4 Hour Body Book, is because it really focuses on you eating, because you have to nourish yourself. Okay, these are very simple things to de-stress. Exercise. Even if all you do is go outside for 15 minutes, and of course I live in Florida, so I can go outside most of the year. I know for a lot of you the weather's going to change and it'll be harder to get outside, but you really need to get outside and just walk if that's the only exercise you do. Or, of course, work out, do physical exercise, and go outside, breathe deeply. And for some of you, take a bubble bath to relax. I love bubble baths. Take a shower to get energized. The reason you take a shower to get energized is because the falling water creates negative ions. We're positively charged, and falling water is negatively charged, and it helps to energize us. If you have a dog, take your dog for a walk. They'll appreciate that. And if you're somebody like me, it's like, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. Set the timer for 15 minutes and get up from that computer and go away from your projects. The reason that you set a timer, it's for those of us who are, they call us workaholics, they call us names. We're geeks, we're nerds, we're people who we get so focused with what we're doing that we just never get up. The whole day's gone, and then we're wondering why our neck hurts. We're wondering why our bodies are stiff. We're wondering why we're hungry and why we're not, we're overweight or we're underweight. It's because we don't take time for ourselves. You have to replenish yourself. And again, these lessons are lessons that I'm learning, and I don't want to burn out. So I have to learn how to de-stress, or I'll just be another one of those people, who, oh yeah, whatever happened to her, because I just burned myself out, and I don't want that to happen. And I don't want that to happen to anyone else, because social media is, it's where it's at. It is one of the most exciting things. Internet marketing, social media, product development is just very exciting. Also, limit your use of Facebook and other social media. I see a lot of people who hang out hours and hours, or it appears that way. I check it, I scan through it, but I go off and it may be on in the background. But don't have the feeds come into your email. Turn all that stuff off and limit it. Just check it and use it as a support system and to educate yourself, because some of those posts are pretty good. They offer great insight, great advice, but don't don't get sucked in. It's a time suck. So check it once a day and limit it to 20 minutes, and you'll find you have a lot more time to do stuff. So again, these is just simple things you can do. There's a ton more, but these are simple things. I want to just tell you a little bit because, gee, I've already been talking now for 40 minutes, and we have about, or actually 50 minutes, we have about 10 minutes left. And I just wanted to let you know about some of the projects. And now this is why I feel tired. I wrote a book with the help of Christina, and it's called Ask Tami, a logbook of 365 plus social media tips, tricks, and tools. And I had it with me when I was in California, and I showed it to a couple people. But what's different about this book than anything that you're going to see is it includes the tips and the tricks and the tools, but it's also a logbook to keep track of all of your notes and your passwords, things so that you can carry it with you. And it also has a section in it for affirmations and coaching. So it's kind of a little pocket book that you can carry with you as a tool for social media. And of course, as time goes by, I actually am working on one for nonprofits, because in my mind I'm going to create a series of Ask Tami books. There'll be the yellow book, the blue book, the orange book, the red book. So I'm really excited about that. And of course, Christina is the life coach, and so her affirmations are in it. I also wanted to tell you about Mentor Online Magazine Mom, and this is Mom came about just kind of in a weird way. Actually, on August 28th, I was driving down the road and I was thinking about, being stressed out and needing mentoring and stuff. And I started to think, and I was missing my mom. My mom passed away in 1985, and my mom was my best friend, mentor, advisor. And I really miss her, and all of a sudden it came into my mind, Mentor Online Magazine Mom. I went home, that was Sunday, August 28th, and I had Mom figured out, developed, and even some experts lined up by Tuesday, which would have been, the 30th, and then my first issue went out on a Thursday, and then Mondays and Thursdays, then every Monday and Thursday I put it out in email, and I've been doing this now since the 1st of September, and slowly but surely we're getting subscribers, and the value, wonderful comments. I want to thank Rebecca. I see she's on the line, and she comments on Mom a lot, but there's some really good articles in it, and I have some really cool people who are going to be contributing. So I just wanted to share that with you, that I created that, and it's something that you can create also, because I guess when you feel a calling for something, really you just need to do it, produce it. And then next week I have a Talk Your Way to the Top free webinar, How to Speak to Get New Clients and Cash Flow. And this came about maybe about a month ago. I went out to the Chamber of Commerce. I do a lot of public speaking, but I went to a Chamber of Commerce luncheon, and from that I got invited to a nonprofit group, which led to me teaching about 30 nonprofits how to use social media, which led to me going to another Chamber of Commerce where it just keeps building, and I'm getting a lot of new clients from speaking. So I wanted to share that with people. So next Tuesday at 8 p.m. I'll I have a live webinar, and then on Wednesday at 2 p.m. I have another live webinar that I'm going to be doing for people who are in Europe, because they're 5 hours ahead. And I had a lot of people say, hey, Tami, that's the middle of the night. So I wanted to invite everybody to that also. And what I'm going to be revealing next week in the webinar are my lucky 7 strategies, and how to get speaking engagements at local venues, how to set up your speaking engagements, and a step-by-step action plan, what to talk about at your speaking engagements that get people excited and willing to give you their contact information, and how to get nearly everyone in the audience to say, yes, I want more, by using a simple tool, how to overcome your fear of public speaking, and 5 ways to never ever cold call. I do not cold call. I am not a salesman. I am a teacher. I'm an educator. And I have tried these foot in the door strategies. They work, and you get true results. And then I have 5 follow-up strategies that make the cash flow. And this is, of course, where you make your money, in the follow-up, because if you go out and speak and never follow up, guess what? You're just speaking. And then I have some things that people need to do right now to get booked for fall, winter, and spring engagements, because it's fall, and this is when people are planning for the rest of 2011, and they're planning up into spring, May of next year. So it's really important. So all you need to do is send me an email to asktami365@gmail, and I'll send you the information for that. But that's some of the things that I'm doing right now. And I really wanted to say thank you to everyone who's here, because I really appreciate it. And as I asked or promised, I'm not sure which it is, I would really appreciate it if you could send me a little email with some comments about the presentation and if you got any value from it. I'd really appreciate that. And if you would, I'd like your name, city, state, and country. I don't know, some of you may be from a foreign country. I don't know right at the moment. And also say hi on Facebook and let me know if, again, I'm really interested in hearing comments. And of course, with the mom, go check it out. Again, Christina has written some great articles on it. You can actually, if you subscribe, you can get a free numbered autographed copy of Ask Tami, and the number on it will be number 1, because I haven't publicly released the book yet. So I'll autograph it and I'll number it as number 1. If you subscribe, 1 person will win that book, and I'll announce that next week on a Thursday. And just again, if you have feedback for Mentor Online Magazine, I'd appreciate it. And if you could come to the webinars next week and listen to that, I've got some really good information, because that is what my expertise is. I know how to do presentations and how to teach material that makes people want more, and they'll also give you great referrals. So that is my presentation for tonight. So let me see if I have any questions that I can actually answer. Let me see. Oh, thanks, Joan. Thanks, Lisa. I've got some comments. Let me double check here and see if I can open up the mics. It's not appearing to let me open up the mics, and I really don't know why. It might be because I'm on a Mac, and I know you PC people are going, ha ha, but that's okay. So anyway, if you do not have any questions, I'll call it a night. We have 1 minute. It is now 10 p.m. Hey, that's pretty good timing. My presentation ended right on time. I really, really appreciate everyone coming tonight, and I'm sorry that my audio is not allowing you to speak. But again, I hope I gave you some value. Please do contact me at asktami365@gmail. Go check out Mentor Online Magazine. Also, if you would like to be an expert mentor, send me your information, because I'm sure that all of you have some great information that you could share with other people. I'd really, really appreciate that. And again, I really thank you for showing up at 9 o'clock on a Friday. And this is your assignment, okay? This is Teacher Tami now coming out. My assignment for you is this weekend, if you've been burning, you need to take a day off. I seriously, I am closing after this, and I am not reopening Tami, Total Audience Market Immersion, until 9 o'clock on Monday morning, because I need a break. I will talk to everybody at 9 a.m. Monday morning. So I really appreciate it, and I really hope again that you got some value, and I hope that you come back and learn some more with me next week on either one of the webinars on Talk Your Way to the Top. And again, this is Tami Patzer, and I really appreciate it. And thanks for coming to How to Avoid Burnout While Creating Your Own Social Media Consulting Business. So I'll sign off for now. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate it. Thanks.